Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It's Manchester United versus Sunderland. It's Moyes versus Mourinho. But I'm going to start off and say, Manchester United, let's be positive. We are going to win this game. We are going to win this game for many reasons, but one of the biggest reasons we will win it is because our away record is actually, I don't do stats, but I would predict it's probably one of the best, if not the best in the league. It's around 60% win rate. I think our home win rate is down to 38%, which is ridiculous, but our away win rate is absolutely superb. And when you couple with that with the fact that Sunderland haven't won a Premier League game since 1994, then I'm joking, but they haven't won in a long time. It's there to be won. Now, I accept that there'll be negative people saying, I don't think Sunderland have scored a goal in 6 games, so we're bound to let them score a goal, etc. and all that nonsense. But we are good away from home. Sunderland have got to win this, otherwise they're relegated anyway, which I think is fantastic, which I'll talk about in a minute. But they've got to win to have any hope, and they can't sit back and put 8 men behind the ball. So they'll have a go. We've got the better players. We'll win this game. I think we'll beat. I think actually, you know what? For all those people who are getting negative on Tuesday night and doing their little videos trying to get, we're rubbish and all this nonsense, we're a few inches away from brilliance, like most men. We're a few, joking again, but we have been a few inches away from a lot more points this season, and I think we will win the next 3 games, and suddenly everyone will be happy again. So I'm going to be positive. We'll beat Sunderland on Sunday. We'll beat Anderlecht away on Thursday, and I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, we will beat Chelsea on Easter Sunday. And whether we'll get top 4 or not, I still think it's gone. But it's a big weekend because when you look at the other fixtures, Chelsea are out of it. I don't know what I'm talking about them. Arsenal have got to go to Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace need to win, and that could be more drop points there. Liverpool have got to go to Stoke, who've got a worse record, I think, than Sunderland. They've not won since 1988. So I think Liverpool could drop points there with Marino out for the season. Man City have got Hull. They'll probably win that. But I really think it's a 3-horse race for that 4th position. I think it's Manchester United, Liverpool and Arsenal for 4th. And I think we can do it. I don't think we will, and that's only because of our home form. I just don't think we'll do it. But in relation to where Manchester United are and what we're going for this season, it's got to be Europa League. It's got to be Champions League football. And I think then everything falls into place in the summer, because I don't think Mourinho is a winner. As much as we're frustrated as fans, Mourinho is a winner, and he, more than anybody, will be frustrated because he was humiliated by Chelsea when they sacked him. And he's not had he's been humiliated at times this season, unfairly at times. Sometimes he has done silly things like his Fellaini obsession, but he can't put the ball in the back of the net, and there has been a lot of misses this year. I think we've scored 6 goals from 172 shots on goal at home, which is just bloody ridiculous. But we'll win on Sunday. We're going to be positive. We'll win on Thursday, and we'll progress in the Europa League, and we will beat the champions-elect at Old Trafford on Sunday, and we are going to be positive, and we will do it. How will we line up? I want to talk to you about Jose Mourinho's press conference, because there's some interesting points from that, but I know you want to know how I think, or how we think, because I don't think there's going to be much disagreement about this. Wayne Rooney is out injured. Ashley Young is out injured, which is a bit of a shame. Phil Jones and Smalling are still injured, which is a blessing, and Mata, we know, is a long-term injury. So De Gea will play in goal. Valencia will come back. We missed him on Tuesday night. He will come back in at right back. Centre backs will be Bailly and Rojo. Happy with that. Left back's interesting. Left back is interesting. It can't be Ashley Young. Will he play Luke Shaw? I think we're all hoping that he plays Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw had a really good half an hour against Everton. Not just the shot that led to the penalty, but he made 2 really toweringly good headers in his own box. And he's not small, he's 6'1", so I hope he plays Luke Shaw. I fear he might play Blind or Darmian, but if it was me, it'd be Luke Shaw, and I'm just hoping Mourinho will go with that. The midfield 3. Right, the midfield 3 is quite interesting. I think he'll play Herrera, Fellaini and Pogba. Now, you know how I feel about Fellaini. Our win record when Fellaini plays drops, it hemorrhages. So I would play Carrick, Herrera and Pogba, but I don't think he will play Carrick. I think he'll play Herrera, Fellaini and Pogba, which we still should win. What will he do with the rest ones? Well, it'll be Zlatan up front, and then what he does on the right and the left will be quite interesting. Again, I think he'll play Lingard because he's given him a new contract. I think Mkhitaryan should play, and I think on the left, he'd be mad to play Rashford, so I think he'll play Mkhitaryan on the left. I don't expect Martial to start, even though I think he should start. So that's how I think he would go. I think he will go De Gea in goal, Valencia, Rojo, Bailly, I think he'll play Luke Shaw, I hope. I think he'll play Herrera, Fellaini and Pogba, Lingard on the right, Mkhitaryan on the left, Zlatan up front. And it will be enough to beat Sunderland that side. What changes I would make? Probably like a lot of you. I would play Carrick, Herrera and Pogba as a midfield three. I would play Martial on the left and I would play Mkhitaryan on the right, and Lingard would be on the bench for me with Fellaini and obviously Rashford. But whatever team he puts out, we should win. 100%. This Sunderland team is a very poor team. And they are going to get relegated, and I'm glad they're going to get relegated because I don't forget things, and I will never forget that Aguero goal. I think it's one of the worst things that's ever happened to Manchester United, that last minute Aguero goal against QPR. I don't like QPR and Mark Hughes because of that, but we were waiting at Sunderland for that result. We thought we'd won the league. We didn't win the league, and they started doing that stupid Poznan shit. And ever since that day, I've absolutely craved Sunderland to get relegated. So, sorry if you're a Sunderland fan. I know it was a few years ago, but I will celebrate with a special Poznan on the United stand when you get relegated. Because what goes around comes around. Sorry, that's football. So, I'll be glad when they get relegated. I'll also be glad when they get relegated because David Moyes is a man I don't really respect as a football manager. I don't know him as a person. I know some Manchester United fans still feel a bit of affection for him, feel a bit sorry for him. I think he's a clown, and I'm glad he's going to get relegated. I've got no love for him as a football manager at all. He came to our club, he arrogantly got rid of the backroom staff against the greatest manager there's ever been advice. He dithered on signings all summer and basically, quite rightly, made us think it was Ed Woodward, and it clearly wasn't. It was Moyes who dithered. He cost us Thiago, who's now at Bayern Munich. He spent all summer thinking he was going to get Fabregas, and then the football he played was just ridiculous. He was and he gave Rooney a ridiculous contract as well, and he signed Fellaini. So he's done that. I can't stand Moyes as a manager, and I think he did a lot of damage to Manchester United. And I think, I don't despise Van Gaal. I think he was a bad manager, but I think, to be fair, Van Gaal and Moyes are still paying for the mistakes. Sorry, Van Gaal and Mourinho are still paying for the huge mistakes that Mourinho made. I mean, we were champions of England, and he set us back 10 years within the first 10 minutes by getting rid of the backroom staff and thinking he could walk into Manchester United, the champions of England, having never beaten a top four side and never won any trophies at Everton. He thought he could arrogantly walk in, get rid of our backroom staff, rip it all apart, and run us and make us competitive. He was just a clown. And a lot of it, in fairness to him, comes down to the fact that he never should have been appointed in the first place, and I think the board made a mistake there. But no, I've got no love for them. Midiarca has made a contribution through the Super Chat. Thanks for that. He says 3 home and 6 away games left. Is that a good sign? It is, because we're good away from home. And I know we've got that run against Man City and Arsenal and Spurs, and that's probably the reason I don't think we'll get top 4, because we've blown so many points against the teams we should have got the points on the board for, that to get top 4 now, we've basically got to win so many games, and we've got some tough ones. But take it every game as it comes. United have got to start playing well at some point, is what I would say. Let's talk about Jose Mourinho's press conference, because a lot of you may not be aware of some of the things that he said. He was very complimentary about Jesse Lingard and said, the youth's very important at this club and he deserves the contract and he's a good player who can get better. No comments. He was asked about, this is an interesting one, and it caused a little bit of a meltdown on Twitter. He was asked about Adnan Januzaj. He was on loan at Sunderland. You may have forgotten about him because he's not done that much at Sunderland. Some people say he's played quite well. A Manchester United player who should be a Manchester United first team player playing at Sunderland should do better than quite well. I compare Januzaj to Andreas Pereira. Andreas Pereira is playing for, I don't know where Granada are now in the league. I do keep updated with Pereira, but I don't know where they are in the league. But they were a couple of months ago in the bottom 3. So very similar to what Januzaj's got at Sunderland. Week on week, no matter who the opposition is, like Barcelona last week, he's getting assists, he's scoring goals, he's putting man of the match performances in. Pereira. Januzaj, he's very rarely been man of the match. He's had a couple of good games. He's not Manchester United quality, but very interestingly, Mourinho was asked about Januzaj in the press conference. This obsession with English football baffles me. Why are they not asking him about Pereira? But they asked him about Januzaj, probably because we're playing Sunderland. Januzaj can't play because that's how loans work. But Mourinho said, I've made my decision about what will happen with Januzaj, but I'm not telling you lot. Now, I'm hoping that means he's going to sell him, but I've got a horrible feeling it means he's going to give him another chance. Now, I know a lot of you lot would say, yeah, that's good to give him another chance, but our squad is full of deadwood as it is. And even if you got rid of Rooney, and brought Januzaj back. Attacking wise, we've got Mkhitaryan, we've got Martial, we've got Lingard obviously with a new contract, we've got Rashford, we've got Mata, that's 5, Januzaj 6, Pereira 7, we're going to sign a couple of others like Rodriguez and Griezmann or Sanchez. We're not. So Januzaj's got to go for many reasons. The biggest reason for me is he's not good enough, but there's probably the bigger reason than that. We ain't got a space in the squad for him. We want better players than Januzaj coming to Manchester United. He's had his chance. His ship has sailed. Get rid of him. And I hope that's what Mourinho will do in relation to that. He was also asked, and this has been misquoted, even we tweeted it out because we trust BBC Red Wednesday, and they obviously got it wrong. They tweeted out that Mourinho was asked about the current record at Manchester United, and obviously we've drawn 10 home games, I think, or we've drawn 10 games in the Premier League, which is 10 points. Now, it was misquoted that Mourinho said he'd rather have drawn 10 games than won 5 and lost 5. But if you won 5 games, you'd have 15 points, so we'd have 5 more than we've got now. So that was sort of thrown out there, and a lot of Manchester United fans quite rightly were like, what is he on saying that? It doesn't matter whether you've got, you always go for 5 more points. The unbeaten run's it's probably one of the most annoying unbeaten runs we've ever had anyway, because yeah, we've had a great unbeaten run since October, but we've made no progression and we're still in 6th place. So of course we'd swap it for 5 points. But what Mourinho actually said was, of course you would swap it for the more points, but actually to be unbeaten for 10 games builds a strong mentality. So he's putting a positive spin on what is the reality. I mean, which is good management really, because if he sits there and says, oh yeah, the 10 game unbeaten run means nothing, I'd rather have 5 more points, the players listen to that and they think, yeah, this doesn't mean anything. But he is living that situation, so he's got to make it a positive. So there was no issue with that. Obviously Rooney and Young are out injured. There's a few rumours floating around about Rooney about how many injuries he has at the moment, and they sort of come out of the blue. They're always in training. There's a bit of a conspiracy theory that it's not injuries. He's just going to be leaving Manchester United, and either Mourinho or Rooney doesn't want to be involved. I think it's a conspiracy theory. I think he probably has got an injury because when he came on last weekend, he showed a lot of fight and spirit. He also said that Mourinho also didn't really want to get brought into the Moyes thing. He said he sympathises with Moyes. It's hard for most managers at the moment. But what I would say is that I've seen a lot of this week, and I've purposely sort of kept it back for this video. I've seen a lot of worst home record in decades, Jose Mourinho. After this amount of games, Moyes had so many points, this, that and the other. Let's not forget, by about this time, Moyes had been sacked. He got sacked in April in his first season. But for all these records that the press are negative, I mean, it's negative Mourinho week by the press. They did it in September. They're trying it again now, and their aim is always to turn Manchester United fans against Mourinho, because if you look at things like negative, I mean, I suppose, I like Robbie on Arsenal Fan TV, so I'm happy to talk about it. But if you look at Arsenal Fan TV, their views on their videos when they lose compared to when they win, they're probably getting 3 or 4 or 5 times more. And that's how the press works. So moving away from fan channels, the press this week, they want to build a controversy around Manchester United, and they want to sell papers, so they try and turn people against Mourinho. Now, some United fans are very annoyed with Mourinho at the moment. I was annoyed with him second half on Tuesday, as were a lot of people, because I think his tactics were terrible, going long ball, and I can't understand how Fellaini played 90 minutes. But I still trust him, I still think he's the right man, and I still support him. But they've been feeding it all week. Negative. Worst record ever. Worst home win record ever. But they don't talk about the positive, do they? Our away record, he's got the best away record for any manager ever at Manchester United in his first season. Like I say, a 60% win rate. He's also got, hands down, absolutely kicks the ass out of anybody for the amount of games lost as a Manchester United manager, including Sir Alex Ferguson. It's really low. The percentage of games we lose under Mourinho for the games he's played is really low. And people say, well, that's because he's hardly been here. I don't think you understand how percentages work. It doesn't matter. If you've only played one, the percentage is rubbish. But he's played we must have played well over 40 games by now. So once you've done that amount of games, it doesn't matter whether you've played 40 or 400. It starts to sort of replicate anyway. So we don't hardly ever lose under Mourinho, but they don't want to feed that positive in, do they? Which I think, I feel very positive at the moment. I know instantly after a bad result you feel really frustrated, but it's like anything, isn't it? You learn to live with grief. And I don't want to say Manchester United losing is like losing somebody you love, but over time you come back to reality and you compartmentalise and you look at it in a different way. I still think top four's gone, and I want to be wrong. I'm not normally. I said last January top four was gone, which was 4 months before the end of the season with Van Gaal, and we actually finished level on points with Man City and didn't get top four for goal difference, but I was right. I don't want to be right on this. I think top four's gone, because I don't just throw it out of a hat. I actually do spend time looking at fixtures and that. But the reality is Liverpool and Arsenal have got no European football, and they've got a favourable running compared to us. What Manchester United need to do is win these next 3 games and start playing good football. If we do that and we start playing good football, anything is possible. And we can do it. Don't take my word that it's gone, and I'm not saying no, resolutely it's gone. It can be done, but my head says that it's gone. But I think we can win the Europa League, and the most important thing from Manchester United is we win this game. How many do I think we'll beat Sunderland by at the weekend? Because we will win it. I don't think we'll win 4 or 5-0 or anything like that. I can see it being 2-1, 3-1, something like that. I get the feeling it'll be the sort of game very reminiscent of the Middlesbrough game a few weeks ago. I think there will be a goal for Sunderland, but I think we'll come out on top because the quality will shine through, and Sunderland have got no confidence at all. So be a good 3 points for us. I hope Arsenal drop points at Palace, and I hope Liverpool drop points at Stoke. Typically, they'll probably both win when we win. But if that happens and we win, it just gives us a little... All I want from the rest of our Premier League season, and what's just disappointed me against Everton and West Brom, is that we didn't win games that we should win on paper, and we didn't keep the interest going. We don't want the Premier League to become a dead duck, because no one's interested in a dead duck. Not even its mother. She's just sad and flies away. Classic comedy there, that line. But yeah, so let me take some of your comments. Focus on the Europa League, says Alfred G. We need a striker, says Guken Anderson. I bet they score first, says TC Singh. I've always said we'll finish in the top 4, says Paul Jones. And I really don't give an FUCK what others say about Mourinho. I have my opinion about him, but I do support him during DeVries. Well, the reality is I love the United stand, obviously I love the United stand, but I love your opinions because I do read a lot of the comments. I can't read them all out, but I get to know your names, I get to know what you're thinking. People like Andrew Ellis, he's not really a Mourinho fan, but he backs Manchester United. Josie Pullis, he's on there sometimes. He can't stand Mourinho and he's never liked him. So there is consistency there. And reality is, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. I'm so sorry to bring this up late, but if you are late, you're going to love this one. So, Jesse Lingard, Gary Neville came out today and he's done a bit of Twitter conversation with Mark Ogden, who's a journalist. And Mark Ogden was saying, this Lingard contract's definitely divided opinion, which even I can see, and you can all see from the United stand. We did the video, he divides opinion. Gary Neville tweeted out, well, they're not real United fans then. How can you not support somebody who's come through the youth system? Boom! There's a bomb. It explodes on Twitter. And a lot of people backed Neville, like they always do. But a lot of people had the, backbone and morals to stand up to him and say, that is a ridiculous thing to say. I'm not a United fan because I don't agree with your opinion. I'm not a United fan because having watched Lingard for years, I don't think he's good enough. I'm not a United fan because I don't kiss the arse of every youth player that's come through the system. And then somebody named a load of youth players, Luke Chadwick, Kieran Richardson, many youth players that just aren't good enough. And I don't have that opinion, by the way. I haven't got an issue with the contract for the reasons explained, but I do respect opinion. So a lot of people were not happy with this. You're not a United fan if you don't. Basically, you're not a United fan if you just don't bend over and applaud every decision they make. Well, that's not real life, is it? That's not real life. If you bend over and take every decision, then that's not real life. You've got to have an opinion. To be honest, I think people who are passionate about the club and disagree with things actually shows how much they love the club, because they actually can be bothered to get frustrated. So all those people yesterday who were annoyed and frustrated by Lingard getting a deal, when you scratch the surface, whether you agree with it or not, and I don't necessarily agree with people getting frustrated about it, but when you scratch the surface of that frustration, the only reason they're getting frustrated is because they are passionate about Manchester United being successful and having decent players and winning trophies. Well, that's of course that's being a real United fan. But everyone's each to their own. So yeah, I'd meant to mention that. But This is the thing, nobody's right all the time anyway. Gary Neville, right back, legend of Manchester United. But just because he's got his own show every Monday night and he talks football and he's got a knowledge of football, he gets a lot wrong. He gets a lot wrong. I was going to say I get a lot wrong, but I don't want to be compared to Gary Neville because that's ridiculous. But everybody gets wrong. All I ever say to you lot, and a lot of you would say it back, is nobody's ever right. If you've got an opinion, back your opinion. You don't need to abuse people or anything like that. Back your opinion up and believe in yourself. That's what the United Stand's always been about. It's meant to replicate that chat on the train, the chat with the mates, the chat down the pub. It's football opinion. I've never professed that my opinion's better than yours, and I would never ever say that. I will sometimes be quite passionate about my opinion, like Fellaini I've been for 3 years, shouldn't be at Manchester United. A lot of you disagree with me, some of you agree with me, but it doesn't mean I'm right. And whatever you say doesn't mean you're right. But if you're passionate about it and you believe it, then that is what football opinion's about. And to be honest, that's what life's about. You've got your morals, I've got mine, I've got my beliefs, you've got yours. Respect it. But enjoy the debate. And that's the great thing about football. I love it. George Kyle says he's right all the time. Yeah, apart from George Kyle, I should have put the disclaimer there. Who's going to wear the number 10 shirt when Rooney goes, says Tenzing Namyan 6. God knows. And FCM Hallam, I know it's not your first time watching, you cheeky get. And Gwyn Branson, Gary Neville was just defending the kid. I wonder if privately he thinks differently. I think Gary Neville's very passionate about the youth system. You've got, and that is his opinion. He's come through the youth system, so he's going to be very protective about it. I absolutely respect his opinion for that, but it's his opinion. And I think, maybe he gets a bit passionate. To be honest, I respect him for putting that tweet out because I think it's misguided, but he's obviously said something passionately. But it's like people who say you're not a United fan if you don't go to games, you're not a United fan if you're not from Manchester. They probably believe it, but actually it's very offensive and wrong because you can be a United fan from bloody anywhere. You could be Tim Peake out on the bloody moon space station supporting United and as passionate as anybody else. I don't know whether he is one, but Richie CR has contributed. He says Mourinho always starts by making the team solid defensively, and that is what he's done so far. De Gea is no longer our man of that match every day, which is a good point. We have built it up, and we wouldn't be that. Is Gary Neville a legend for you, Chad Sproul? I'm not getting into that. Lingard is I've sort of given you the answer there. Lingard is a good squad player. We need to play fast-paced build-up football. Just going back to what Richie CR said, I think we have built from the back. But in fairness to Mourinho, the only reason we haven't got more points and we haven't thrashed more teams is because we haven't put the ball in the back of the net. Let's be honest, we've created a lot of chances. So to say Mourinho's defensive, and I know you're not saying that, Richie CR, but some people do. We've drawn so many games because we're defensive, whatever. I think over the last few weeks we've not played that well, but before that we were just creating so much and not putting the ball in the back of the net. And Mark, Man United in 10 years' time, describe what it will look like. What Manchester United will look like, or the United Stand will look like. The United Stand, if I'm still here, I probably won't have any hair. And if in Manchester United in 10 years' time, we could be where we are now, but in the preceding 10 years between then and now, we might win the Champions League a couple of times. We might win the league, and then the cycle might come back to this. We had a very long cycle of success, an unprecedented cycle of success that no club really ever has. It was like 20 odd years, wasn't it? And I don't think anybody will ever have that again. And we were spoiled, but me and my mates and a few others, we knew these days were going to come. What frustrates me is I never expected them to be this bad. And what frustrates me is how we had all that power and we let it slip through our hands too quickly. And that always frustrated me. I was fully prepared that it was never going to be the same when Sir Alex Ferguson left, and we were not going to have that level of success. I wasn't happy, but I was fully prepared for it. But what sent me over the edge was how weakly we gave it away. And ultimately, it's to do with David Moyes, because Sir Alex Ferguson leaves, David Gill leaves, two massive influences as a manager and as somebody who sorted the transfers out. You lose those two, it was going to be difficult. Then Moyes comes in and gets rid of the backroom staff, and you lose all identity. He gets people like Ferdinand and Vidic to study Jagielka, and you basically, whatever we've done over the last 25 years under Sir Alex Ferguson, he basically ripped it up and burnt it. and the club had to start again. And that's what frustrated me is it was always going to be difficult, but we didn't need to be at 100% and go right the way down to 0% and have to start again. And we did. I think what would have happened is if you'd brought a proper manager in, we would have dropped down from 100% to maybe 60 to 70%. We would have retained top four. We probably would have challenged for the title and might have won it once. But we literally went from 100% to 0%, and we've been gradually working our way back up. I think at times we've as a club we've very rarely been over 50% since Sir Alex Ferguson left of our capability. I believe. I think Moyes had us down from 0% to 20% in his first season. Van Gaal came in, and I think he hovered around between 20 and 50% because the football was so bad, the league form was bad, but we did win an FA Cup, 20 to 50%. And I think with Mourinho, we've taken another step up, and we're probably, I would put us at the moment between 40 and 70% of our capability. I think that's pretty good. I think the bad times haven't been as bad as Moyes and Van Gaal. I think the football's better, but I don't think we're not really hitting the heights. I still think we've got, I think 70% is our ceiling at the moment. We need to get that extra 30%. And we can do it, and we will do it. And I enjoyed that sort of percentage thing. I'd never even thought of it before, but I think that works quite well. But yeah, that's what frustrated me the most about Manchester United, is that we were so powerful. And instead of just, taking a couple of steps back, we knocked it all down and started again because of Moyes, and it was really, really sad. Manchester United are rebuilding like the New Republic, says MSTR Hallam899. Evil Duck thinks we'll lose, and I don't. I think we'll lose. And Ewan Gordon says we need a massive clear out this summer. Jose is a god, says Joshua Lee. Sam here. Hussein's, what do you think about Januzaj? I've spoke about it already, mate. And Jose should have signed a CDM in January. Awesome guy. I do agree with you, but you don't know who's available in January. It's a horrible window. A horrible window. Chicken Plays thinks Pereira should get number 10. I would love that. And Aubameyang could be that shocking transfer, says Tenzing. Miguel 6. I hope so. Bay's been good, says Jarrett Redding. All his signings have been good. Fergie wasn't the best when he started, says Forever United. That really does not wind me up, but I don't think there's any legs in comparing Sir Alex Ferguson's period to any new manager at Manchester United for many reasons. The football was just a different world then. Manchester United hadn't won a title in 20 years when Sir Alex Ferguson took over. It was a team of drinkers. It was a good cup team, but they just couldn't do anything in the league. We weren't really producing any youth talent, and the club was absolutely messed up. And it was always going to take 2 or 3 years to rebuild it, no matter what you spent, because football was different then. Moyes, for me, one day in the club was too long, and football's just different now. Football's just different. I mean, look at Ranieri. I thought it was a disgrace that he got the sack. He gets sacked, and the clubs and Leicester start winning. All that's done for football is shorten even more how much patience chairmen will have with football managers now, because Ranieri did basically turned water into wine. It was a miracle what he did at Leicester. The following season, they're not even going to go down anyway. He would have kept them up. They're still in the Champions League, and he gets the sack as champions. That's the modern game for you. It's just changed completely. Sir Alex Ferguson now would have been sacked in that first season, but it was a different world then, thank God. It's not like that now. Happy birthday, Mark, says Marcel. Thanks for that. I'll tell you what then. It is my birthday. There's over 600 of you watching. Nearly 666. I'm the devil. I'm the devil in disguise. As a little birthday treat for me, everybody like the video, and let's see if we can get this up to 1,000 likes, because we've not had 1,000 likes on a video for ages. So if you like the content, if you want to give me a little birthday present, drop a like on the video. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes on here. Football Bear, the United stand will reach 1 million subscribers. I don't know. I don't know about that. If we hit 100,000 subscribers, we'll have a party. It'll be fantastic. I would love to do it because I think everybody involved deserves it. And I'm still looking. I've had a few people send me emails. Thanks for that. We are still looking for people who go to Manchester United matches who are interested in doing a little bit of phoning on their phoning on their cameras, or if they've got filming equipment around Old Trafford, match day vlogs, that sort of thing. We're looking at that. We're never going to do fan cams because somebody already does that, and we are quite respectful in that sense. We wouldn't want to tread on other people's toes. We don't believe in doing that. But we would like to start doing a few more things and getting matchday fans involved, because I know there's a lot of worldwide people who watch the United Stand who probably never will get to go to Manchester United games. So we want to start giving you a little bit of that as well. So if you are somebody who goes to games, drop us an email at soccerboxtv@gmail.com. So soccerboxtv, all one word, @gmail.com. If you're a match going fan and you want to get involved in that sort of thing. And the great thing about the United Stand is now we've got people writing on the website. You can do that as well. Just go unitedstand.com and contact us page if you want to write on the website. We've got lots of social media things. And if you are good enough and you do get involved now, we've always been very open about this. We obviously do the Skype Goldbridge. You're not like me when I started this channel off and I was like skirting around getting people like Alex and Rich and Martin and people like that involved in the channel, and we were getting like 30 people watching. It took a long time to build this up. If you're good enough now, the way I am, I want to give talent a go. Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how young you are. You've got to be good enough or have the potential to be good enough. But if you do get on, you've got an instant audience of thousands of people. It's a great opportunity. So I would urge you to take it, or if you know anybody who's aspiring or wants to get into this sort of area of work, it's a great opportunity. Do I watch 100% Chelsea? I don't watch any other channel. I might watch the odd fan cam. I don't watch Arsenal Fan TV. I think it would just send me over the edge. I'm at an age now where high blood pressure is not a good thing. I'm going to go and have a pint now, Paul Jones. Thanks for that. But thanks for everybody who has dropped a like on the video. I've just looked at it. We are currently at 666 viewers. We've been on for half an hour. I never really mean to go beyond 20 minutes on a preview, but we always seem to do it. But there's always so much to talk about. And the reason we do our preview, somebody always says, why do you do your preview so late? Some people do it like 3 or 4 days early. We used to do it quite early, but I like the fact that we're the only ones who do the preview after Jose Mourinho's press conference, because there's a load of guesswork. If there's injuries, you know, some of the other previews, if you go and watch them now, they'll have done their teams and they've put Rooney in it, but he's injured. So, and I like to get it after the press conference because there's always some good talking points. So if you like the fact that we do that, then let us know. But I do. Loads covered. We will win on Sunday. We will beat Anderlecht and we will beat Chelsea. And you heard it here first. Thanks everybody for watching. And I shall see you tomorrow. What am I doing tomorrow? There's a video going up on the channel tomorrow. I think I'm going to do it live, and I think it will probably be... I normally do them about 2:30 after the lunchtime kickoff. So there'll be one at 2:30 in the afternoon. Won't do one tomorrow night, but I will do tomorrow night on my Mark Goldbridge channel, Manchester United versus Sunderland Tactics Preview. So there'll be 2 videos tomorrow, but we'll be live on here first at about 2:30. Got a special video for you. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Weekend's here. We're going to win on Sunday. And remember, Sunday's watch along. It's a 1:30 kickoff, so we'll be live at 12:30 UK time. See you all soon. Come on, be positive. Be positive. The past is the past. The future's there to grab. See you in soon. Actually, the past is the past. The future's there to grasp. There you go.